At the time, two associates were Marie Curie and Pierre Curie. They were able to show that rays emitted by the uranium atoms caused the fogging of the plates. So here are the radioisotopes mentioned. They are also unaffected by the compounds in which their unstable isotopes are present. Also goes on to say they cannot be sped up or slowed down or turned off, as listed below. Unstable radioisotopes of one element are transformed into stable isotopes of a different element. Radioactive decay is spontaneous and does not require any input of energy. Here are the three main types of nuclear radiation. Here is a table that summarizes the characteristics of three types of radiation. Each of these emitted particles, called an alpha particle, contains 2 protons and 2 neutrons and has a double positive charge. When an atom loses an alpha particle, the atomic number of the product atom is lower by 2 and its mass number is lower by 4. With beta particles, the neutron breaks apart into a proton which remains in the nucleus and a fast-moving electron which is released. The symbol for the electron has a subscript of -1, where the atomic number would be written, and this represents the electron's negative charge. Because gamma rays have no mass and no electrical charge, the emission of gamma radiation does not alter the atomic number or mass number of an atom. Gamma rays are extremely penetrating and can be very dangerous. Gamma rays easily pass through paper, wood, and the human body. At short distances, the nuclear force dominates over electromagnetic repulsions and holds the nucleus together. The stability of a nucleus depends on the neutron to proton ratio. A neutron versus proton plot of all stable nuclei forms a pattern called the band of stability, shown in red. A nucleus may be unstable and undergo spontaneous radioactive decay for several reasons. Some nuclei have too many neutrons relative to the number of protons. These nuclei decay, turning a neutron into a proton to emit a beta particle from the nucleus. After each half-life, half of the existing radioactive atoms have decayed into atoms of a new element. Half-lives can be as short as a fraction of a second or as long as billions of years. There are at least 2 ways transmutations can occur, and they are listed below. Many other transmutations are done in laboratories or in nuclear reactors. All of the transuranium elements undergo transmutation. None of them occur in nature, and all of them are radioactive. Nuclear fission can release enormous amounts of energy. The fission of 1 kg of uranium-235, for example, yields an amount of energy equal to that generated in the explosion of 20,000 tons of dynamite. So, for neutron moderation, this is very necessary because most of the neutrons produced move so fast that they will pass right through the nucleus without being absorbed. In neutron absorption, to prevent the chain reaction from going too fast, some of the slowed neutrons must be trapped before they hit fissionable atoms. So, fuel rods are made from fissionable isotope, either uranium-235 or plutonium-239. The fuel rods are long, narrow, typically 3 meters long with a 0.5 centimeter diameter. During fission, the amount of fissionable isotope in each fuel rod decreases. Eventually, there is no longer enough fuel in the rods to ensure that the output of the power station remains constant. The sun directly and indirectly is the source of most energy used on Earth. The energy released by the sun results from nuclear fusion. Fusion occurs when nuclei combine to produce a nucleus of greater mass. In solar fusion, hydrogen nuclei fuse to make helium nuclei. Fusion reactions in which small nuclei combine release much more energy than fission reactions in which large nuclei split. Radiation cannot be seen, heard, felt, or smelled. Thus, radiation detection instruments must be used to alert people to the presence of radiation and to monitor its level. The tube has a central wire electrode that is connected to a power supply. When ionizing radiation penetrates a thin window at one end of the tube, the gas inside the tube becomes ionized. Because of the ions and free electrons produced, the gas becomes an electrical conductor. Ionizing radiation striking the phosphor surface produces bright flashes of light, or Anyway, the number of flashes and their respective energies are detected electronically. The film badge is an important radiation detector for people who work near any type of radiation source. The badge is worn the entire time the person is at work. At specific intervals, with the frequency developing on the type of work involved, the film is removed or developed. Although radiation can be harmful, it can be used safely and is important in many scientific procedures. The thyroid gland extracts iodide ions from the bloodstream and uses them to make the hormone thyroxine. To diagnose thyroid disease, the patient is given a drink containing small amount of the radioisotope. The scan image on the screen is an image of a thyroid gland that shows where the radioactive iodine 131 has been absorbed. Doctors use these images to identify thyroid disorders. Now that you have gotten to the end of this video, please put 3 stars on your notebook.